Yeah, I think that Bitcoin was either created by the NSA or Putin.
Interesting. What about Satoshi?
Dogecoin as a pump and dump scheme.
Dude, that's crazy. Are you telling me the dog itself, the creator of Doge, is trying to scam me?
How much are you planning on putting of your net worth in crypto? I think I'm gonna do all of it, because like straight to the moon, bro.
That is not advice. Comical relief. The hell's a cryptographic puzzle? In today's episode.
In today's episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting thing.
It's gonna be an interesting one.
It's gonna be a very complex on the mind one.
Dude, yeah, this one gets very deep very fast. So a few years ago, I went really down the crypto rabbit hole when I was investing in crypto more heavily.
Yeah.
So a lot of this information was good to revisit, to remind myself like, oh yeah, that's the reason I made these investments back then.
That's good. Yeah, because when you were like, went down the crypto rabbit hole, I just imagined like a Fight Club-esque, I had to go down to downtown and like down a tunnel and invest in this.
Yeah, meet this guy.
Pay him. And, yeah.
It was sketchy.
It was very sketchy. Yeah, but now it's in the mainstream.
Yeah, now it's in the mainstream, but back then when it wasn't. So, as a financial advisor, I think it's very important that I bring up to my clients, because it seems that these always comes in waves, right? Whenever crypto is down, usually when Bitcoin is down, no one wants to talk about it. Everyone is like, oh, crypto bad. But the moment it comes back up, like it is right now, the recording on this podcast, I'm getting calls from my clients. Hey, I've heard about this Bitcoin thing. Have you ever heard about this Bitcoin thing? And it's once everyone knows about it, now it becomes like mainstream again.
Yeah.
And especially with the adoption by the Securities and Exchange Commission for Bitcoin to be an ETF, and now that the average person can invest in it, I think it's really important that we talk to our audience pursuing financial independence to see, is this the right place for them? And what are the potential risks, pitfalls, and maybe even potential gains of investing in things like cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, I have this strategy for investing, and I don't recommend anybody do this, but by the time my dad tells me about something I've already been invested in, I'm like, I should probably sell.
No, I actually have that exact same strategy.
Yeah, he'll do the same. He'll be like, have you ever heard of XYZ company? And I'll be like, well, let me just put a limit order on this. Let's just make sure we're sitting good.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's true. If my mom ever asked me, like, hey, have you ever heard about, like, tell me what's going on with this FTC thing?
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yep. I gotta go.
Time to go.
Yep. So interesting. So this is, like you said, this is gonna get deep fast.
It's gonna get deep fast, but we are gonna keep it at the highest level that I possibly can. I can go to a much deeper level than we're going to, but we're gonna end up losing people.
Yes.
There will be one point in this podcast that I have to go deep level, like I just have to.
Is that the blockchain part?
No, the blockchain part's actually easier. Well, yes, it is. It is. It's gonna be proof of stake versus proof of work.
Okay.
It's the different ways of blockchain.
Oh, it's gonna get deep fast, guys. Okay. But grab a coffee. Don't get into bed. You gotta stay alive and stay awake for this one.
We're going to keep it fun, but before we get into any of that, the first thing we need to talk about whenever we talk about cryptocurrencies is, what is money? Like, how has money evolved over time? So, what are the origins of money? So, at the basis of everything, money was brought up in order to exchange goods for services.
Okay.
Now, if you can think back in the day when we used to have a bartering system, and this would be basically as early as we could, if you were a cobbler and you made shoes, and say you wanted to purchase, chicken.
I do love chicken.
Hopefully, if you were the cobbler, that chicken farmer, their kids needed shoes. And if not, then you would have to find somebody else that had something the chicken farmer would want in order to trade with them, in order to trade something again with the chicken farmer. And you can see that this could become very complex very, very fast, and that everyone having to constantly trade and barter system. It's like playing, you ever play Settlers of Catan?
I love Catan.
Yeah, Catan is...
I love that game.
It is it.
It's my favorite game.
When you're just like, I have so many damn sheep.
Yes.
And no one wants my sheep.
Yep.
Imagine that just all the time.
Yeah.
So in the 7th century BCE, in modern day Turkey, China, and now a little bit of China, which is on the Silk Road, that's where we actually find the first mint of a fiat coin, metal coin. So currency was actually being traded, because back before then, groups were so small that they were actually able to just simply know who one another was and just trade off of like your goodwill towards other people. But as we started to expand out, and civilizations became larger and larger and larger, well, now I don't know the guy at the bakery store. I don't trust the guy at the bakery store, but the guy at the bakery store trusts me if I give him $10 that I just gave him a medium of exchange. Here's $10 for whatever I want.
Yeah, interesting. You're bringing up the Silk Road? Good Lord, we're talking about the history. We're talking about history today. I love that. I love some history. That's awesome, yeah. Part of me wishes it was like still kind of like that, but.
I think you say that,
But at
until
the
we're
same
in
time,
the situation.
yeah,
like, I don't
yeah,
want this
exactly. It's
anymore.
like I do love my laptop
Yeah.
and this camera and the microphones and all that fun stuff, and I know my neighbor ain't building it, so yeah, we'll keep what we got.
We'll keep it going. So in the 7th century, when China and when those first mint coins were made, that is when the first fiat currency began. Now, when everyone here talks about cryptocurrency, oftentimes you'll hear someone be like, well, because it's against fiat currency. And most people are like, I don't know what that means, but this person sounds real smart. So one thing today, in today's pod, I'm going to try to decode all of the words that people use in crypto in order to normally confuse people, just to make them be like, all right, you're right. Like, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
So what fiat means is that it is a currency backed by a government decree rather than intrinsic value.
Okay.
So what that means is our American dollar system.
Yes.
That's fiat currency. The Chinese yen, that is fiat currency. It has value because the government that backs it says it has value.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. I'm just like, I can't come up with my own currency and provide value for it.
Well, that's what crypto might be.
Interesting.
So that's where we're trying to get weird with it, right? Because typically we used to have gold and silver. That was historically has always been the medium of exchange. And post World War II, pretty much all of the European countries went off of the gold standard during the World War because their monetary system was pegged to a unit of gold or silver, meaning that you were actually able to go to the mints and trade your currency, your paper dollars, for actual gold or silver.
Interesting.
But during World War II, things became so expensive that all the European countries had to go off of that standard. And then they had to start just producing fiat currency where they were no longer held back by the constraints of monetary gold that was in the system.
Interesting. And they never went back.
Well, that's where the story gets a little bit deeper. So
Okay.
after World War II, America actually had all the gold in Fort Knox. So this is called the Bretton Woods Accords. During the Bretton Woods Accords, we basically said, we, America, are going to become the global currency, reserve currency, which I'm sure some people have heard, like we're the global, and people are concerned about that. What does that mean? All these types of things. But what that meant is we will basically peg our dollar to ounces of gold. So during that time, you were able to go to the mint and trade in $1 of cash for $1 worth of gold, straight up. And that was the way it was. And then everyone else, every other currency around the world pegged their money to the dollar because the dollar was exchanged for a true unit of value, which at the time was gold.
Interesting. That's deep.
That is deep. But then it gets even worse.
No. Okay.
In 1971, with inflation running away so high that we couldn't stop it,
President Nixon took us off the gold standard.
Took us off the gold standard.
Gotcha.
Therefore, allowing the Federal Reserve to be able to do whatever they want and basically changing monetary policy indefinitely because now we are no longer constrained by how much gold is in the system. Now we're able to just produce money at the drop of a thimble. We just do it by creating it on a ledger. That's what centralized finance is. The difference between centralized finance and decentralized finance, like cryptocurrency, centralized finance is there is one party who can go ahead and say, we're making more money or we're taking money away. Decentralized finance means that it's decentralized, so there is no one central party, so that no one person can just be like, we're making more money or we're taking more money away. It needs to be a group consensus, which good luck getting a group of anyone to do anything with.
Ever. Interesting. Wow, that was a good history of money. I like that. Are we done with the history of money?
Yeah, and that was just a super broad overview.
Very broad,
It
but-
gets much deeper than that.
Because you could spend your whole life studying money.
We could probably make like 6 podcasts just to like what is money. But at the end of the day, money is a medium of exchange for goods or services that we all believe in.
Okay.
So we believe that the dollar, that you pull a dollar out of your wallet and you see that dollar has value because we as all the American citizens and all the citizens of the world believe that it has value. Nothing more than that.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I think, so is it something, I mean, you work in finance, obviously. You prefer the centralized, or do you prefer the decentralized? Or is that something that matters to you?
I just work within the system that I have.
Okay, gotcha.
Centralized, the way that things have worked with the Federal Reserve being able to fix things, there are a lot of problems with it.
Yes.
But say like 2009, when that subprime housing collapse happened, Had the Federal Reserve been stuck on the gold standard, we would have gone into recession probably worse than what we saw during the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
And my thought is that probably could have led us into the Third World War.
Interesting. Why is that?
Because the only way that most governments in history have known how to produce more money was to go and take money from other people, or to go and take land, go take resources.
Interesting. Do you think that's the American way of the modern time?
I don't want to get into that.
Okay. Well, I tried. I don't want to get into that. Okay. So, do you think it's time to get on with understanding cryptocurrency?
Yeah, understanding cryptocurrency and understanding what decentralized finance is.
Yes.
So, cryptocurrency, from a broad definition, is decentralized digital money built on blockchain technology.
The hell did you just say?
I know. What'd you just say to me, son? Yeah.
Trying to be smart?
So, a definition of cryptocurrency is decentralized digital money built on blockchain technology. And people will say that, just straight up be like that, and they'll move on to the next thing, and you're just like, I don't know what he just said there.
Okay.
So I'm going to break down every single word in that sentence.
I was just going to say, I'm like, there was cryptocurrency, decentralized, digital, money, blockchain. And what's this technology thing?
What's this technology thing?
Okay.
So, cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is anything from Bitcoin to Ethereum are the most popular ones, but there are over 9,000 different cryptocurrencies. Mm-hmm. So whatever cryptocurrency you want to go with. For right now's discussion, let's go with just Bitcoin and Ethereum, two of the top leading cryptos, right?
Yeah, that's the only way to put it.
Yeah. So that's what a cryptocurrency is. Decentralized digital money. So decentralized means that there is no one central party, just like with the government being able to say like that is centralized, meaning that one group of people get to make the decision. Mm-hmm. So decentralized means that there is no one group of people. That's what that means.
Controlling the flow of money.
Controlling the flow of money and the control of commerce and the value of it. Mm-hmm. And then digital money it's digital money. I don't know how to explain that any further down. And then built on blockchain technology. We're going to get to that in a second. I would talk to you about what blockchain technology is. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are the most popular. Bitcoin, which is what I know far more than Ethereum, was actually started in 2009, right after the subprime mortgage lending crisis, by a gentleman or maybe a group of people.
Nobody
by
knows.
Like a messiah. We don't really know. I mean, there are people that say it's probably the NSA.
I've heard some people say that like Putin created it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I really don't know. But Satoshi Nakamoto is the name that we have given to this person.
My pen name.
Yeah, my pen name.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah. So when people say that they are like they're collecting sats, they're collecting Satoshis.
Interesting. I never heard about that.
You never heard of like collecting Satoshis?
No,
Yeah,
I've never heard
it's another word for Bitcoin.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Dude, I love that. I kind of love that.
Yep.
That's really cool.
So, the nice thing about cryptocurrency, unlike gold, unlike money, the hard thing with gold, because gold has always been our store of value, if you want to transport gold across the world, if you want to store gold, you need to have a physical vault to hold that gold in your house. If you want to say, I want to purchase something in Argentina, well, now I need to move gold from my house in Arizona to Argentina, and then the Argentinian person will, once they receive that, will send me whatever I want. Mm-hmm. Cryptocurrency is a little bit different. Now that it's digital, that transaction can happen in the click of and really as fast as that.
Yeah.
Obviously, adding a chain to the block or adding a block to the chain takes longer than that, depending on which coin you're talking about. Bitcoin takes a while for the hashing to actually happen, and I know we're getting deeper than I want to right now. It takes a little bit of time, but that's why we're moving on to like different cryptocurrencies.
Yes.
And that's the reason we're kind of moving all that stuff.
Okay.
But unlike fiat currencies, there is no central authority managing the value. So we all collectively value what Bitcoin, what Ethereum, what Dogecoin by how much people are willing to buy or sell for it. Mm-hmm. And that's where most people say like, well, crypto has zero intrinsic value because it's all just based off what other people want.
What the next guy will pay.
Yeah, what the next guy. So it's the greater fool theory. But it's the exact same thing with money. With like traditional American dollars, the only thing that says that it has value is basically America and the backing of our military. Saying that if you don't accept this, we'll come take you out.
Yeah, we have nukes. Get out of here. Get out of here. That's basically it, because we're not on the gold standard anymore, right?
Gosh. And there's really not a way that I can see that we could go back onto the gold standard without completely destroying our system.
Interesting. What if we found like a really big patch of gold?
Well then,
Leprechaun levels.
well then, the issue with that is if you get more gold, like we still have to say like, then the gold becomes devalued because there's too much of it.
Interesting. So do you find that could there be something else that we could attach the wealth to rather than gold?
Well, that's the case for Bitcoin.
Okay. Okay.
That's the case for cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
Is that it could be a new chain, a new thing that we can attach money to, because for Bitcoin specifically, there's only going to be so many Bitcoin that will ever be mined in existence forever. Now you can divide that by how many times you want to say each unit is worth in terms of dollars.
Yeah.
But at some point we will run out of how much crypto can be mined.
Huh. That's interesting. That's weird that it's like, because I know for the U.S. government we can print money out of thin air, but for Bitcoin, you can't. It has to solve a complex problem to make another coin.
And we'll get into that in a second. And when you think about like the U.S. government creating money, it's not like they're going to the printing press and actually like legitimately printing
Yeah,
money.
because that's what I always thought it was like when they say like we added like trillions of dollars to the economy, I'm like, oh, and like they flipped on the printer, put that thing at max speed. With Jerome Powell with his unlimited money printers.
Yeah, and then there's some guy in a hot air balloon and just shot out dollars to everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So they're not even printing money. So let me get this straight. So we have more money in the economy than there are dollar bills to represent it.
Yeah, substantially more.
Substantially, like a 2x?
I think it's like 8% of the money that we have in physical dollars represents how much is actually outstanding. I think it's actually lower than that too.
That's wild.
That's what a bank run is.
Yeah.
That's the reason because there's not enough money in the bank. Like if you go to the bank right now and try to take out $50,000, you can't.
No.
They just straight up can't.
No.
They don't have that money there.
They get weird when you try to deposit 50,000 too.
That's because of terrorism.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's over $10,000, then they have to ask questions. But yeah, you can put 9,999 in there and they won't.
They'll still ask. Damn. Well, whatever. Interesting. Yeah,
But yeah,
banks are weird.
It is weird, but that's the big thing that cryptocurrency is trying to fix, is that all of it comes down to belief in the system.
Yes.
And that's kind of the scary thing of this whole thing, is all it takes is enough people believing that the system isn't working and not buying into the system anymore of what currency is for our feet to fall out from underneath us. And at that point, you're not going to be wishing you invested in stocks, bonds, Bitcoin, or precious metals. You're going to want guns, bullets, and cans of food. We're in a very different situation there.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. I'm trying to think of what like a novice would ask and understand about this. So I don't know if we're going to get into this, but how does one buy a Bitcoin? Or are we going to get into how it works next?
We'll get into that a little bit later.
Okay.
We'll talk about different ways to buy now. Between getting like a hard wallet or having a custodian buy it for you, or even now buying the ETFs. But it depends on the cryptocurrency as well.
Okay.
So in today's podcast, we're going to focus more on Bitcoin and Ethereum, the two
the main ones. Yeah.
Because I don't want to get into other 9,000 other coins.
There's a lot of coins. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of coins that are honestly just silly. Like think of Dogecoin. Dogecoin, a lot of people think like, oh, Dogecoin's going to go to the moon, whatever it is that they said. Yeah. But Dogecoin was legitimately a coin made as a meme, and then their whole thesis was, no matter what you do, dumb people
don't sell.
No matter what the coin is, no matter how silly it is, no matter if it has zero use. On the white paper for Dogecoin, it said, this coin has zero use, but we believe people will buy it.
It's really funny.
Because people will buy anything.
People will buy anything.
So then Dogecoin went up basically to the moon after Elon Musk tweeted about it. Yeah. But Dogecoin was a coin made with the specific intention of showing how silly it was.
Honestly, I kind of want to get a Shiba Inu, a little Doge, a little Doge dog, just in honor of it. Yeah. So pretty, such a pretty dog.
Yeah.
But a terrible coin.
Yeah.
A useless coin.
It was a useless coin.
It's very useless.
Don't get me wrong, it made some people money.
Yeah.
But for the probably 2% of people that made money, there's 98% of people that do not.
In order for someone to make money, someone else has to lose money.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where crypto has both goods and bads, is that it's not completely, but it is nearly completely unregulated. which unfortunately allows for a lot of Ponzi schemes.
And a lot of criminals too. Yeah.
Yeah, so think of like FTX with Sam Bankman-Fried. That was a whole debacle that should have been caught a lot earlier. But it wasn't, because crypto is so difficult to understand that I'm trying to, even during this podcast, try to figure out how do I bring this down to a level that the average person can listen to and understand it. Because I have dedicated like 4 years to just understanding like what I know right now. And I still don't know everything.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to know everything about anything, but especially when it comes to something as complex and as cutting edge as this, the weeds are tall.
The weeds are very tall.
The weeds are very tall.
But at the end of the day, we have to remember that it is trying to become a currency. And just like all currency, it is a medium of exchange for goods or services.
Absolutely.
And we're trying to now move away from centralized currency, where there is a government entity saying this is what currency is worth, to decentralized, to the people, everyone collectively saying this is what money is worth.
Yes. Interesting. So, gosh. So we talked a little bit about the cryptocurrency. We talked a little bit about the blockchain a little bit, digital money, decentralization.
Yeah, sorry, we talked about cryptocurrency, we talked about decentralization of money, and then that it's built on blockchain technology. So now I want to move on to what is blockchain technology? How does cryptocurrency work?
Yes.
So I'm going to give you a blockchain basics, okay? So blockchain is an open and distributed ledger that records transaction in code.
Okay.
I'm going to say that again.
I didn't get that. Run it back.
Blockchain is an open and distributed ledger that records transactions in code.
Okay.
So transactions are what's known as a block.
Okay.
They are linked together in a chain of previous transactions, hence blockchain.
Okay.
So the easiest way that I can try to
rewind
it again, because I don't know what he's saying to me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna clip this out of the podcast. I'm just gonna like duplicate it like 6 times so everybody knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the easiest way that I can try to make this is I'm gonna try to like do an analogy.
Okay.
So imagine that we are all in a prison. You, me, our audience member, we're all sitting inside of a prison.
What did they get us for?
They got us for a
tax evasion.
For tax evasion. We did it again.
Okay.
So
that's a joke. Don't come after us. That's a big joke.
So we're all in jail, right?
Yeah.
And amongst us, we have a medium of being able to buy and sell things. Like we'll be able to go to the general store mart in prison and buy shaving cream, whatever. But also the prison guards, they're on the same exact currency too.
Okay.
And the prison guards are in charge. So maybe the prison guard decides, like, I want a candy today, but I only have 50 cents and the candy bar is $1. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and create more money, therefore bringing down the value of, I'll print myself more money, therefore putting more into the circulation. So all the prisoners, now we just lost money by him being able to produce more money for himself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're sticking there.
Yeah.
So the guards have all this power, we as the inmates do not. What we're going to do as the inmates is we're all going to keep a piece of paper.
Okay.
On that piece of paper, we're going to write down every single transaction that happens with our normal dollars.
The blockchain.
That is this. That is the blockchain.
Okay.
So that would be the chain.
Gotcha.
In the blockchain. So the chain would be, we're going to write down, so you give me a candy bar and I pay you $1. Every single prisoner inside of this prison cell is going to write down, Chris gave Dom a Bitcoin for the candy bar. We're all going to write that down. Now, if one of the guards finds out that we're doing this, they're probably going to go and try to stop that. So they're going to take out one of the guys that was doing it. But guess what? Not only he has the ledger, every single person inside of the prison has the piece of paper where we talk about every single transaction. Take this a step further. Once we go ahead and move forward and everyone agrees, like this is what happened, Chris gave Dom a Bitcoin for a candy bar, we have added a new block to the chain. Blockchain technology.
So every time there's a new transaction, a blockchain is created?
A block is added to the chain.
A block is added to the chain. Gotcha.
And now it's become whenever multiple transactions have occurred, it's not just one transaction, it's a ledger of multiple transactions happening in one block.
Oh, I see. So do I have a ledger for my lifetime, or is it like I have every time I do a transaction, I mean, obviously you just said what I'm going to say, but opposite. So every time I make a purchase, or buy or sell, a ledger is created, or, okay, interesting. a ledger is created on that specific block.
A ledger is created, yeah, so there's one large chain that has every single transaction that's ever happened. But within each block, there's going to be multiple transactions happening. It's not going to be like, oh, Dom sent me money, and then this person got to send this money. They're just transacting a bunch of them in one block of the chain.
Okay.
That is honestly as easy as I can make it. Like, I am sorry for how confusing it is.
That's a. Who created this? Good Lord. Interesting. Freaking Satoshi.
Yeah, freaking Satoshi. But think of our monetary system. Our monetary system is basically the exact same thing.
It is the same thing. Yeah,
It's
the
the
more you
exact
think
same
about
thing.
it, the more you think like it's the same. But we have less power. Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. So now we need to get into what cryptographic proof is.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
See
I'm
you
done.
tomorrow. See you tomorrow, guys.
So transactions in all cryptocurrencies that are like good cryptocurrencies are supposed to be transactions and verified by cryptographic proof, allowing us to be sure that everything that was transacted on, so if we're all writing on our piece of paper, that everyone that wrote everything down is accurate and secure.
Okay.
So that now is not saying that I gave Dom $1, then one random guy says that Dom gave me $1. It's going to make sure that everyone is using the exact same thing, so that each user of their own copy is completely verified to the transaction record.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit.
I'm trying to make it as easy as I can.
I'm trying to sit here. I'm trying to like deep think and like use
think.
100% of my brain and just like dial in.
This might be a listen back to pod if you
This is definitely going to be a listen back to, run it back twice. There better be some good notes in the description. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Okay, so anytime something is bought or sold, the ledger records it, and the ledger is on the blockchain, is on the chain, and
then once the transaction is complete, a new block is added to the chain.
a new block is added to the chain. And the more blocks there are on the chain, the slower it'll be, or no?
Probably not, because we're only now working on the next one. You don't have to go back and every time that you get there. But the nice thing about blockchain is if there's ever a discrepancy, you can go back and see what happened at that time. But it doesn't mean you can change it, but you can go back to that time. But no, you don't have to run a cryptograph on every single transaction that ever happened. You only have to run a cryptograph on what's happening right now.
Okay. Where's this chain being held? It must be a pretty long chain
pretty
by
long
now.
chain.
Yeah, it's on the Silk Road?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Interesting. So it's not a physical chain?
No.
No. It's digital.
It is digital.
It is a cryptocurrency.
Yep.
Gotcha.
It is a cryptocurrency.
Gotcha. Okay. So what I'm kind of curious about a little bit is, what happens if the government steps in and they say, we don't want any more Bitcoin around? Can they do that?
Yeah, of course. China did that.
China did that?
Yeah, they just tried to crack down on crypto, and they try to stop crypto mining. And what happened? It ended up just moving into different countries.
Didn't it go into like Hong Kong? Yeah.
Yeah, Hong Kong, Taiwan. All they ended up doing was just moving their crypto mining places to other areas. And now China's trying to get back into cryptocurrency and trying to bring it back in.
Yeah.
So that's the nice thing when it's decentralized. Just like in our analogy with the prison cell, unless the prisoners are willing to go and kill every single inmate, it's really not going to work super well.
It's not gonna work. Unfortunately, it's not gonna work. I mean, fortunately, because we don't want everybody killed.
Yeah, we don't want everyone killed. But yeah, that's the nice thing about it is since it's decentralized, there isn't really no one way to stop all of it simultaneously.
Interesting. And basically, I heard this thing where it's like, you only need one computer to keep the blockchain alive in across the whole world.
Yep.
Rather than like
Because
how it is
it's
now.
on every single one. Yep.
Interesting.
Obviously, you wouldn't want that because then it's centralized.
Yes, gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
yes.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Huh. Okay. I'm starting to pick up on it.
You starting to get it?
Very slowly.
Very slowly.
Hopefully, yeah. As you guys know, I'm very novice to this whole topic. This is not my forte, that's for sure. But hopefully they're getting it as well.
I hope so. I've tried to simplify this to the easiest that I possibly could. And that's why we started with what is money.
Yes.
Because that's what we need to start with is what is money, because no one's going to believe that cryptocurrency is money unless you understand that what is actually money still doesn't make much sense.
No, it doesn't. But I'm glad we started there.
Yeah.
And where are we at now?
The next thing we're going to get into is going to be the unfortunately deepest part of this whole conversation, which is consensus mechanisms.
Okay.
So what I talked about in the last part is that with cryptographic proof, everyone needs to make sure that we're all unified to each transaction that happened. So the next thing we need to go into is how do we all unify, saying that like, okay, everyone is correct on the ledger before we move on. Because you can't have half the people saying, oh, this is how the transaction happened, and the other half of the people saying, this is how the transaction happened. Because then we don't know how the transaction actually occurred. Did Dom pay Chris or did Chris pay Dom?
Exactly. So
Everyone needs to agree.
And how do they agree?
Proof of work.
Okay.
So there's two different ways. There's proof of work and there's proof of stake. Those are the two primary consensus mechanisms to verify all transactions. So proof of work is what Bitcoin and Ethereum currently use.
Okay.
And this is where when people talk about like it takes a lot of hashing power or it takes a lot of energy to mine Bitcoin to run these transactions, it's because it involves solving I'm going to make this as simple as I possibly can, involving a mathematical puzzle to validate transactions. Who are you?
Oh, I'll turn this camera off, bro.
What are you saying to me?
We need easier topics for this show, I swear. Okay, so every computer that is mining a Bitcoin has to solve a mathematical puzzle problem.
They're all trying to solve a mathematical...
But they don't always do.
Whoever gets it first, then now gets to... And this is what hashing power is. This is why a bunch of people will sometimes put mining blocks together. So you're not just using one mining computer power in order to solve this puzzle. You'll get a bunch of people to try to put their power together in order to do it. But once they solve that puzzle, then they're rewarded with a Bitcoin and a new block is added to the chain with all the transactions in that block.
Okay.
But everyone is competing against one another for one person, one miner to get the gold, to get the Bitcoin, get the Ethereum, and get the block added to the chain. And then they transact saying that it's okay, we did all of this.
And how hard is it to get one of those coins?
Very difficult.
It's very so. If I bought if I got installed like a massive server farm, and their only job was to mine Bitcoins, like it would. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Like, would it be? Would I actually make money from that? Or
you probably would.
Yeah.
But not immediately.
Not immediately, because I know I've seen like massive server farms. There's even like companies built around mining Bitcoin, which is crazy.
Well, think about it. Like if you solve a block, and right now crypto's at like what Bitcoin's at like $70,000. You just earn $70,000.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, that's pretty sweet. And if I can't just like turn on my computer and go to like bitcoinmining.org,
No.
.ai,
No.
and start mining.
No.
That's not how that works.
Nope.
Damn. Trying to grab a quick 70.
So that's a basic as to what proof of work is. Proof of stake is validators are chosen based off of the amount of cryptocurrency they are willing to stake against the transaction. And I'll get into that more in a second, but first I want to go more into proof of work. And the only reason that I'm going this deep is because there is a lot of people who want to invest in crypto now.
Yes.
Especially with the advent of ETFs. And I think it's very important that people have at least base understanding as the technology that works underneath the layer. Because when you buy Bitcoin, you're not just buying like everyone like when you think of the gold coin with the B on it, right? And the symbols, you're not buying that.
That doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist. You're buying, that's the marketing component of what Bitcoin is.
Yeah.
What you're actually buying is this proof of work concept. That's what you're buying.
Yeah.
And people don't understand this. A lick of it, and I can barely explain it. A lick of it, because it's so confusing.
Do you think that's one of the things that hinders its expansion into the masses is that people don't fully understand it? Or do you think people are just so naive and they really don't want to understand it? As well as like investing, people don't want to, to explain how the stock market works, to explain how money works, how the Federal Reserve does things. It's like, do people just want to live in bliss and not know about it and just invest blindly? Or do you think it's okay that it can be this complex and people don't have to know everything to invest? What do you think?
I don't think you need to know every single thing to invest. No, I don't think you have to go anywhere near as deep as what we're talking about here to be able to invest. But I think you need to understand like what this is at a base level. But yes, I would say that majority of people don't want to know this stuff, and a lot of people go through life just hoping.
Yeah.
Hoping that like, oh, I guess I'll put it in here, and then they end up listening to a bunch of people, and that's why crypto has the reputation that it does, is because while there may be good cryptos, like Bitcoin, maybe like Ethereum, I don't know.
Doge. Joke.
You know,
That's a joke.
for them, there are 9,000 other cryptos like Doge, like freaking all these other.
Don't say it.
I'm not gonna say it.
Don't say
but,
it.
yeah, like Dogecoin, like Catcoin, like I don't know, Leprechaun coin.
There's a lot of silly coins.
There's so many silly coins, and there are companies that are built around pump and dump schemes where they will go on to like different Reddit boards and be like, everyone buy this coin. This is the best coin.
Yeah.
And then they'll tell their people beforehand to buy the coin, and they'll tell them exactly when to sell, which is the definition of a Ponzi scheme.
That's literally
is completely illegal to do.
Yeah.
You know, or if you guys give us our money, when we get more people, we'll give them your money. We'll give your money to them, and then they'll give your money to you, and that's how we just play this game, which is again Ponzi schemes.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts to get messed up.
A lot of creators got involved with that kind of stuff.
With NFTs, yes.
Oh, and coins too. Yeah, it was just a pump and dump scheme. Crazy.
And a lot of people don't know what they were doing. Like,
No.
I mean, Kim Kardashian got in so much trouble for doing this for I think it was FTX that she got in trouble for like endorsing. She has no idea what the hell she's talking about
No.
when it comes to this stuff.
No, this is.
I'm not saying she's not a smart woman, but
No, but there's a good chance she wasn't on that deep of a level. Because I mean, if she's a smart woman and a smart business woman, you know, she would realize that was, you know, a very fishy deal. Yeah.
But when there's other people like Sam Bankman-Fried from FTX who sound smart, look smart, play the part,
Yeah.
and they tell you the right words and you don't understand what they're saying, you're just like, okay, it sounds like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. You get caught up in it.
You get caught up in it.
Yeah, especially when it's like you're salivating over the money aspect. You're like, oh, I could make so much money.
Yep, it all runs off fear and greed.
Yes, sir. That's the sad part of it.
Yeah,
That
the
is
majority
sad part.
of cryptocurrency is FOMO. It's fear of missing out on a great gain.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yep. So we talked a little bit about, we talked a little bit about the puzzle, the proof of work, and all that stuff.
And we're going to get a little bit deeper into that right now. Because
Okay,
I have to get into that because this is what you buy when you buy Bitcoin. This is what you buy when you buy Ethereum.
This is what we're purchasing.
So, proof of work is consensus mechanisms used to verify and confirm transactions on the blockchain network. So, in proof of work, participants, which are known as miners, compete to solve a complex mathematical puzzle. So, miners are going to use computational power, this is where all the energy comes from, to solve cryptographic puzzles which require significant amounts of energy.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So, the first miner that actually is able to solve the puzzle validates the block, saying that they validated all of the transactions, and then adds a block to the chain, creating the blockchain.
And then as time goes on, the puzzles get harder.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
The puzzles are always pretty much remain the same level of difficulty.
But they weren't always this difficult.
No, they've always been this difficult. What you're talking about is the halving
Okay.
for Bitcoin specifically, which
Okay.
I'm going to talk about.
Yeah,
it for
sorry, I
a
shouldn't have mentioned
second.
it.
We're going to talk about it for a second.
Okay.
So, mid-April, the halving is going to happen again. Every 4 years since Bitcoin's inception, what you get for mining a Bitcoin gets cut in half. So in 2020, you would earn, say, let's just make it easy, a full Bitcoin for transacting a hash and actually adding a block to the chain.
Yeah.
In April of 2020. In April of 2024, once the halving happens again, instead of getting a full Bitcoin for completing a block, you're going to get half of a Bitcoin for completing a block. So you get half the amount of benefit for the same amount of work. And that continues to happen indefinitely until all of the Bitcoins are mined.
Interesting. And how will we know when all of them are mined?
We know how many Bitcoin, Satoshi already wrote that into the white paper as to how many Bitcoin are out there. Now, we can change that, but you need to have a group consensus of at least 51% of all of the decentralization to add more Bitcoin to the system.
Interesting. But then it puts us back kind of like where we are with like US currency.
It does, but that's still having to say that 51% of the people need to agree on things.
That's more than what we have here.
Yes.
Okay. So, interesting. So, wow, that's weird. So what happens to the price of it when they're all purchased up?
That's where it goes to the moon, theoretically.
Theoretically. Because the supply is zero now.
The supply is zero, but it still is going to be traded because now it's just like gold where it's finite, it's fixed.
Yes. Yes.
But there's theoretically supposed to be more of it than there is gold. And this is, I know, this is where it breaks down and starts to get weird. But if you think about it, in reality, it's weird that we're on a gold standard. Like,
Yeah. That's fair.
it's weird. It's all just weird.
Yeah.
But this is how it works. So, proof of work is known for its robust security features as altering past transactions would require a significant amount of computational power, which makes it basically resistant to network changes, because you can't go back and change that without having enough power to change every single computer that has the same exact transaction record on it.
Yes.
So that's the fear with the advent of AI. Can AI maybe go inside there and have more power than all computational power?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
But this transaction record, this proof of work, is what makes Bitcoin Bitcoin, is what makes good cryptocurrencies, is that they're resistant to attack and that it's all decentralized, so there's so many people having it. This is what currently Bitcoin and Ethereum are currently working on, is our proof of work mechanisms.
Okay. I'm trying to come up with questions for you, but this is like, I think I'm just going to let you do your thing and just continue explaining.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's proof of work. That's what that is. Proof of stake is the new way that we're trying to move for, because the biggest issue with proof of work is that it takes a lot of energy and a lot of computational power to solve these mathematical problems.
Okay.
What the mathematical problems are, I have no fucking idea. I can't tell you. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But in order for them to do that, to add a block, it's a lot of work, because only one miner is going to be able to win that. Proof of stake is a little bit different. This is going to be using the validation, and everyone is working together now to solve a blockchain. We're not all working against each other, because now everyone can kind of win. So proof of stake, validators are chosen to create a new block by validating transaction based on the amount of cryptocurrencies that they are holding and are willing to stake in order to temporarily lock up against adding a new one on there. So basically what they're going to do is say, I will stake that I have this much crypto to add this to the block, and if I am wrong, you take my crypto. So they are 100% incentivized to make sure that next transaction is 100% accurate.
And who is that? Is that a third party?
I don't know at that point.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, so validators are going to be chosen, and I'm not sure how they're chosen, if that was your question, based off how much they're willing to commit. And my guess is it'd probably be an AI software that will run all based off of who's willing to put up the most amount of crypto to validate the next block.
Interesting.
So the higher the stakes, the higher the chance of being chosen and earning the reward of the next block in the chain.
Yes.
Which gets you another coin.
Okay.
So they are substantially more energy efficient. They're supposed to be more scalable. And this is what Ethereum 2.0 is supposed to run on when it comes out.
And Ethereum, do we know who Ethereum was created by?
We do. I don't know that off the top of my head, honestly. But the issue that I have with Ethereum is that it is not decentralized like Bitcoin is. There is a central governing body that can create or destroy Bitcoin at their whim, which is the exact same.
Ethereum.
Yeah,
Create and
Ethereum.
destroy Ethereum.
Ethereum at their whim, which is the exact issue that Bitcoin was meant to solve.
Gotcha.
That there would be no one party that could create or destroy at a whim.
Do you think that governments will be more likely to adopt Ethereum rather than Bitcoin?
Yes.
Since it is centralized?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you think Bitcoin will be a coin of the people?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the reason that I think that Bitcoin was the first one to be adopted by the Securities Exchange Commission, is because it is real.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not Doge.
Yeah, there's no one person just saying, oh, this is worth something because it's worth something.
Yeah.
And you just can't manipulate that. It's everyone saying this is worth something because we think it's worth something.
Because we think it's worth something. Okay.
And that's where it breaks down, right? And everyone's and this is where people go well, gold has been around forever, and gold has a medium of exchange in that we can use it for jewelry, we can use it for whatever. But as we move more into a digital currency, think about kids today. If a kid comes to you and says I need money for my Roblox thing, and you say that's not real, you don't need money, to them, they don't understand that Roblox is not real.
Yeah.
So as we continue to move down this path of becoming more and more involved in meta and what the world is going to become, that's where cryptocurrency really starts to stand out and say okay, it makes sense now. I understand it. And that's even disregarding what blockchain is. Blockchain actually really makes sense. Maybe not cryptocurrencies, but blockchain makes real sense when it comes to moving into a digital age.
Absolutely.
Because for you to own something, say you own a clothing for your avatar.
Or a house.
Or whatever. That's on the chain saying that this is there, transacted as DOMS. He has it.
Yeah.
And only he owns it.
That'd be a lot safer than just having it in the courts or in the legal system, I would think.
Yeah, rather than it being like in a courthouse, in a filing drawer or somewhere, it's on a ledger across all computers everywhere saying that this person owns this.
This is the truth. Okay. But it's not something, the ledger isn't something that people can just access, right? So it's not,
The miners can access the ledger to look back and see things, but you can't change it.
gotcha. So okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, what else could we put on the ledger?
Yeah, anything.
You could put everything on the ledger.
But remember, like, so
As proof of ownership.
Yeah, so the ledger of Bitcoin is going to be its own. Was going to be the Bitcoin. That'll be that blockchain.
Yeah.
But of like all of who owns every house, that'll be its own blockchain. So not all blockchains are on one blockchain. There's multiple chains.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
chain runs
Yeah.
different transactions, different types of transactions.
That's wild.
Yep.
That's wild. Okay. So quick little recap of what we talked about in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, we really just talked about proof of work versus proof of stake because that's the most important thing. Proof of work involves solving a mathematical puzzle to validate transactions. It's very energy inefficient and only one person wins. Versus proof of stake, which is going to be more energy efficient, ideally, and then still only one person wins, but they have to wager their currency against getting it. So, yep, that's that. But that's what you're buying when you purchase cryptocurrency.
That's wild. That's actually wild.
So that is what cryptocurrency mining is. Like that's what mining is in cryptocurrency. It's people trying to figure out this hashing computational power in order to validate all transactions so that they can mine a coin because the way that the system is set up, because it's actually very intelligently created, is the only way that we can validate all these things is that people have to work on them to validate it. And the way that we reward people for working on validating it is by giving them money. Or by giving them more coin. That's exactly what they're searching for.
Because that's what they're after. I mean, that's what I'm after. Good Lord. Wow. This has been our deepest podcast yet.
It gets deeper than this too. I'm just not going to go there.
No, yeah, no. I feel like if we were going to do that, we'd have to be like in like a dungeon. Like this is today's podcast. We're getting real deep on cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
but
and then where does cryptocurrency? What are its uses then? So
please.
Cryptocurrency can be used to secure purchases and be looked at as an alternative investments.
Very alternative.
Very alternative.
Very alternative. Okay.
But you can invest in cryptocurrency the same way that you would if you were going to want to purchase a business deal. If you're going to want to purchase a property, if you're going to want to purchase a stock or a bond. Now, crypto is basically been made to become its own alternative investment.
Would you say that crypto is similar to like forex trading, foreign exchange trading, stuff like that? Okay. Because you're just trading currency? Okay.
And just like that, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And anyone that says they know what's going to happen, they don't.
They don't. No, they don't know.
Of course, we can all have predictions, and that's
Yeah.
where it gets very difficult. And earlier you asked me like, how do you actually purchase Bitcoin? Do you want to go to purchase a hard wallet, or do you want to have a hard wallet offline wallet? Do you just want to like have it tattooed on your arm? Because you can do that.
Yeah. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do it, but the modern way of doing it and the way that we can now do it is through ETFs. ETFs specifically for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But this creates a moral conundrum in that the reason we have cryptocurrency is so that it's not centralized and that it's off of the records. It was made in 2009 because the reason that we ended up in 2008 is because of people in finance making bad decisions. Now,
And then not owning up to it.
And then not owning up to it. And now we're giving them that power again to make bad decisions by owning the ETFs that own the Bitcoin, quote unquote, own the Bitcoin.
Yeah, because if you own the ETF, you really don't own the Bitcoin.
No.
You own the holder that owns the Bitcoin.
So do you have anything?
No, it's all back in that weird area.
Yep.
That very gray area.
It's same thing that, and this is true, and this is known, that if you purchase a ETF for gold, they're holding gold futures. They don't actually hold gold.
True.
So you actually have zero stake to gold if you hold gold ETFs. And that's the fear with Bitcoin ETFs, is do they actually hold Bitcoin or are they holding something else that we don't know?
Do you think people care
They
enough?
should. They should. Do
should.
they? No, but they should.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's always the weird part about investing. It's like it's not so much if it's a good thing or if it's a good company or whatnot. it's almost the psychology of it,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like you talked about earlier, the FOMO, the fear, the greed, people don't want to miss out. It's like people bought crypto, people bought Doge, for what reason, you know?
Because they thought it was going to go up.
Exactly.
But it's the same reason that we buy anything.
Yeah.
Like, why do we purchase anything? Because we hope it's either going to give us something.
Yeah.
Like, why do we purchase homes? It's because it's going to protect us and are going to give us a place to live in.
Yeah.
And we hope that it's going to appreciate.
Yeah.
But whenever you buy a stock, whenever you buy anything like that, that doesn't give you physically anything, it's because you hope it's going to appreciate and that someone else will buy it more from you.
Yes.
And that's the difference between purchasing things like crypto, things like gold, things like currencies, versus purchasing tangible assets like stocks, where they may not be tangible that you can hold them, but they are related to a company. So if I buy Apple stock, I am purchasing a share of Apple's company. Apple's company is actually making physical goods and selling them to physical people for physical money. And now cryptocurrency is asking the question, what is that money? And is that worth anything?
You're trading something you can hold for something you can't hold. And that's scary for a lot of people who weren't born in a digital age.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's also scary for anyone who's maybe was on a barter system. Imagine if you're on a barter system your entire life,
Yeah.
and now you move into a non-barter system where you're trading dollars, because I can't take my dollar and eat it. Like,
No,
be
you can't.
nourished.
No.
And that's the whole thing that I want to get across in this, is that some people think that I want to invest in Bitcoin, I want to invest in these things because I hear it's good to go and people tell me. I just want to let you know that this is far more complex than you think. But it's because the system it's built on is also far more complex than you think.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you're 100% right. I think you're 100% right on that. It's very risky too. You know, you could always invest into the stock market. You could always get into, you know, everything we talk about that you should get into. But yeah, I mean, it's so new where it could go either way. And for some of us that believe that cryptocurrency will be the future, it's like, well, how long and how volatile will it be? You know, will it stabilize? Which I don't know.
I don't know.
No one knows.
And anyone that says they do know
They're
is
a liar.
straight up lying.
Yeah, because they're not an oracle.
Yep. But I think that cryptocurrency can be a part of a well-diversified portfolio.
Yeah.
I think it can be, and I have had even some clients that are in it. I mean, I'm in it myself, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, same.
Into crypto, but you really need to make sure that we're taking on good risk management, asset allocation, and the considerations of a long-term time horizon when it comes to crypto. And I think the most important thing is that you are not going to put more money in crypto than you are willing to lose.
Yep.
So for me, like, I'll speak from the heart. When I originally got into crypto, I put in probably like 15 to 20% of my net worth at the time. That ballooned to be like 50% of my net worth, maybe even 60.
60% that you put in of your net worth, or
It grew
it grew to 60%
to be
of your
like
net
60%
worth.
of my net worth as my other net worth grew in perpetuity.
Yeah.
I scaled back significantly in order to be able to sleep well at night,
To mitigate risk.
to mitigate my risk.
Yeah.
But I know there's a lot of people that, due to FOMO and due to all the market is fear and greed.
Yeah.
It all comes down to fear and greed.
Yep.
And while there's 90% of people that fail when they get into this, fail when they get into the crypto because they want to get in, get out real quick because they think they understand the timing because
They want to get a quick
they
buck.
bought a course or whatever.
Yeah.
10% of people actually make it out and actually make money,
Yeah.
where the other 90% of people fail. So I want to make sure that our audience are in that 10% of people making it,
Yeah.
by understanding that the money they put in is going to be a long-term hold. You're going to keep it basically indefinitely because you truly believe that it can work out in the future. And if it doesn't, that's okay too, because you didn't put more than you were willing to lose.
Yep. Yeah. Risk management. It's so important. It's so important.
It is.
It's so important. If you don't have proper risk management, you're gonna get wiped out.
Yeah, but that's the cycle of fear and greed, and that's the hardest part. And that's why I always say that being good with money has nothing to do with dollars and cents, general knowledge. Like, you don't need to know all of this stuff to invest in crypto. You don't, but you do need to understand the fear and greed cycle.
Yeah.
Because there is times where I've sold Bitcoin. I've sold Bitcoin actually relatively recently, back when it was at like $60,000, and now it's at high 70s. And of course, there's part of me that's like, damn it, I should have held. But I didn't know that at the time. At the time, I didn't know what was going to happen.
And you couldn't have known
And
that.
I couldn't have known that, but I knew I was losing sleep.
Yeah.
So I worked on that.
Yeah. Control your controllables.
I controlled what I could
Control your controllables. that's the key to life, really. Control your controllables.
And know thyself.
Know thyself and control the controllables. I can't control if it's going to rain on my wedding day, but I can have a wedding inside.
But I can't have a backup plan to either have a tarp or an inside area.
Exactly. Yeah. Got to plan for these things. Wow. Goodness
Any other questions before I give you the action step and we close out?
Bitcoin?
What's gravity?
What's gravity? What is money? No, I mean, I think this is one of those podcasts where I'm just going to have to listen to it again and meditate on it and really like dive deep into like not even so much the cryptocurrency and the inner workings of it, but the psychology of human behavior, especially on the cusp of new things. I guess the closest thing I would assume to something as revolutionary as this is the internet, because it's affected everything, and people were very slow to adapt to it, but those who did adapt to it, they could have seen a more beneficial than someone who was slow to adapt to it or never adapted to it. But this is a lot riskier because it's surrounds around money, and money is the lifeline for, to buy food and snacks and keep a roof over your head and whatnot. So I think, it's not something to toss to the side. It's definitely something to learn about and see if it's something that you would like to have as a part of your portfolio. This is for me. I feel like this is the way that the future is going. I mean, I don't see it going away.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
And so that's going to take us to our action step, which is,
please,
if cryptocurrency is something that you're interested in investing in, interested in just knowing more about, please continue to educate yourself more on cryptocurrency. And if you choose to invest in cryptocurrency, please make sure that you do not invest more than you are willing to lose.
Yeah.
That includes ETFs, that includes hard wallets, that includes owning it off of the chain. Whatever you want to do, and I know I haven't explained what that means, but if you want to go down the rabbit hole, you can go down the rabbit hole yourself, I guess. You can Google it. But if you're going to invest money in any crypto, and I have a significant amount of my net worth in crypto, you have to be willing to lose it.
Yeah.
And be okay with that, because no one knows what the future holds. Because unlike stocks, where it has a history of 100 and some odd years of this is how much it grows, we have basically 15 years at this point of crypto, specifically Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But in those 15 years, we have never in the history of ever seen a currency or an asset, maybe, I don't know if you want to call it an asset, quote unquote asset, perform the way it has, as well as it has ever.
Interesting. Yeah.
It is the best performing asset ever.
Really? Crypto?
Oh, Bitcoin specifically.
Bitcoin.
It is the best performing ever. But that does not mean that you should FOMO it and just be like, well, I don't want to miss out.
Yeah.
Without understanding what you're getting into.
I agree. Yeah. Just because something is good in the past doesn't mean it'll be good in the future. Like there's risks in the stock market as well, even with the 100+ years of data.
Oh yeah, I mean it could all go down to zero.
Yep.
It could, and then you're going to be the person who's saying like, oh, everyone that looks at the doomsday preppers, like that guy was right.
Yep. Yeah, simple as that.
So control your risk, mitigate your risk as best you can.
Absolutely.
And with that, do you want to close this out?
Yeah, dude, let's close this out, dude. Thank you for tuning into the Fi Guys as we help. I'm still processing everything. Thank you for tuning into the Fi Guys as we help decrypt cryptocurrency. We hope this episode provided you with valuable insights into the world of digital currencies and helped empower you to navigate the crypto landscape with a little bit of confidence. With a tiny little bit of confidence. And yeah, I hope you got... I can't assume you processed and understood all of it, but I hope that this is definitely one of those great stepping stones to where it's like, I look back and it's like, the Fi Guys they were there on the chain right there. And I learned something from that.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't understand all of it, I learned one thing about it. I learned if it was the Silk Road money thing, if it was the cryptocurrency, if it was the stake thing, if it was the proof of work, how cryptocurrency works and all that fun stuff. And yeah, I hope you got something out of this. I really do. Because Chris he spent 4 years preparing for this podcast. Okay?
4 years.
So you best believe, like and subscribe on this podcast, and the fee for the show, tell a friend.
Yeah, tell a friend. And to be fair, I spent far longer than 4 years. I spent 4 years since the time I purchased, continuing to make sure I stuck up on it. Before I invest in things, I do far more looking before I invest in things. So
good Lord.
It's been a lot wild.
It's very wild. Good Lord. But we'll see you in the next one, and That's it for
That's
us.
it for us. I'm gonna go take a nap.
Dude, I'm literally like the clouds or the windy. I'm like, it might rain soon. I'm like, dude, let's get a
My
snack.
brain is shut down from talking too much crypto.
Yes, me too.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you on 5 Friday Feedback. We'll be recapping this. So I would definitely recommend if you're kind of lost, re-listen to it, then re-listen to that.
Absolutely.
All right, guys.
Later. Peace.
This video podcast is sponsored by Monzon Wealth. The content in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. We do not endorse specific products or services. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The opinions expressed are those of the hosts and guests, not the podcast sponsor.
It is crucial to consult with a qualified financial advisor or professional who can provide advice tailored to your specific needs before making any financial decisions, investments, or taking any other actions. If you are seeking specified help, you can reach out to Chris at monzonwealth.com.